Pre-Calculus, Module 1, Equation of a Circle. Circle. It is a set of points with the coordinates x and y in a plane that are the same distance r from a point called center with the coordinates h and k. This is an example of a circle. So you have observed that these are the set of points on the circle. And this is the center of the circle. And the radius is the distance from the center to one point on the circle. So it forms a line segment, R. Now the radius of the circle is the distance from the center to any point in the circle, and the formula is the square root of the quantity x minus h squared plus the quantity y minus k squared is equal to r. It follows with the distance formula. Now, let us now use the formula of the radius of the circle to derive the standard form of the equation of a circle. Squaring both sides of the radius formula, now we will get the quantity x minus h squared plus the quantity y minus k squared is equal to r squared. Kung napapansin nyo na matatanggal ang radical sign if we're going to square that. So take note of this ha. Matatanggal ang radical sign if we're going to square that. So ang maiiwan na lang ay yung nasa loob ng radical sign natin. And this is now what we call the standard form of the equation of a circle. At center, h and k, and the radius is r units. If the center of the circle is at origin with the coordinates 0 and 0, then the standard form of the equation is x squared plus y squared is equal to r squared. Now, to derive this equation, let us use the previous standard equation of the circle. So you have observed that the center of the circle is at origin, therefore the value of h is 0 and the value of k is also 0. Now, substituting the value of h and k to the standard form of the equation at which the center at h comma k. So substitute the value. So you have observed that h replaced by 0 and k replaced by 0. So we will get x squared plus y squared is equal to r squared. Example number 1. What is the equation of the circle in standard form, as shown in the figure below? So you have observed that you are given a graph of a circle in the Cartesian plane. So we need to identify first the center of the circle and the radius of the circle using the given graph. Now, the center of the circle is located at the coordinates of -1 and negative 3. And that is the center of the circle. Now, to find the radius of the circle, we can use the center or from the center to any point on the circle. So, pwede natin gamitin ito hanggang dito or ito at ito. So, you have observed that if we're going to find the radius from the center to this point on the circle is 2 units because you have 1 and 2. So the given center at negative 1, negative 3, and the radius is 2 units. Now, using the center of the circle, we will identify the value of h and k. So always remember that your h is always the first element of an ordered pair, while your k is the second element of your ordered pair. So h is negative 1 and k is negative 3. Now, using the formula of the circle in standard form, we will use this equation and substitute the values of h and k. So you have observed we replace h to negative 1, k to negative 3, then r, since r is already also given, which is 2. So then we have, when performing the operations, so we have x minus negative 1. So this will become positive 1. Then y minus negative 3. So this will become positive 3. 2 squared is equal to 4. So the equation of the circle in standard form is the quantity x plus 1 squared plus the quantity y plus 3 squared is equal to 4. Example number 2. Write the equation of the circle in standard form as shown below. So now, what is the center of the circle? So you have observed that the center of the circle is at the origin. So the coordinates of the point of origin is, or we have the coordinates of 0 and 0. And how about the radius of the circle? So let us count. We have 1, 2, 3. So we have 3 units. So we already have the center and we already have the radius. Now, you have observed that the value of your h and k are both 0. It means, okay, we will use the second equation of the circle. We can only use this if the center is at origin. So now, next, we will substitute the value of r. So the radius is 3, so we have 3 squared. So if we have 3 squared, we have x squared plus y squared is equal to 9. And this is now the equation of the circle, whose center the point of origin with the radius of 3 units. Example number 3. The point with the coordinates of 2 and 2 lies on a circle, whose center is at point with the coordinates negative 1 and 2, as shown below. Write the standard form of the equation of this circle. So you have observed at this time, I'm binigay na given sa atin, we have point on the circle. So if you can still recall yung definition natin ng circle, if our given point, this is our x and y values. So your x is 2 and your y is also 2 from this given point. So this is your x, the first element, and this is your y, the second element. So that's why we have 2 for x and 2 for y. We also have center at point with the coordinates -1 and +2. So we have the values of h and k. Now, we need to find the radius of the circle. So, ito talaga ang una nating hahanapin so that we can find the equation of the circle in standard form. Now, let us solve for the radius of the circle. Since we already have these given points, point on the circle, and the center of the circle. Using the radius formula, if you can still recall, we will now substitute the values of x, h, y, and k. By substituting these values, we obtain the square root of the expression, the quantity of 2 minus -1 squared plus the quantity 2 minus 2 squared is equal to r. Then perform the necessary operations. Then we have the square root of the expression 2 plus 1. You have observed this will become 1 because negative times -1, that is +1. And we have 2 minus 2, so that is 0. So we have the square root of the quantity 2 plus 1 squared plus 0 squared is equal to r. Then, the square root of 2 plus 1 is equal to 3 squared plus 0 squared is 0 is equal to r. Then, r squared is equal to 9. So we have the square root of 9 is equal to r. And what is the square root of 9? To obtain the value of r? Okay. So therefore, r is equal to 3. And that is the radius of the circle. The radius of the circle, which is 3 units. Now, to find the equation of the circle, we only need the center of the circle and the radius of the circle. So let us now use the formula of the standard equation of the circle. So substitute the values of h, k, and r. Again, we do not need to substitute the values of the given point on a circle because we're going to find the equation of the circle. So we only need the center and the radius. So substitute the values. We have h, okay, replaced by -1, k, replaced by +2, r, replaced by +3. So we have the quantity x minus -1 squared plus the quantity y minus 2 squared is equal to r, or 3 squared. So we have x, or the quantity x plus 1, since negative times -1 is equal to +1. So quantity x plus 1 squared plus y, the quantity y minus 2 squared is equal to 3 squared, which is 9. And this is now the equation of the circle from the problem number 3.